Good morning, gang. Happy Saturday morning. It's time to get into our second job, right? The part that's take care of ourselves, prepping for ourselves, having a little bit of fun, not punching a clock, doing a 9 to 5, whatever it would be. It's funny, yesterday I was walking around the yard. Mrs. P and I ran some errands because it was raining most of the day, do that sort of stuff. And obviously, because you saw the video, I was sitting in the car. I was walking around the yard and just checking to see how things were doing. Good news, at least it was for me, my carrots have germinated. We've gotten somewhere. All right, we'll see if I can actually freaking grow carrots this year. But I was walking around the yard, looking at the fruit trees, and we've got peaches and we've got plums, and there's a couple of pears. No apples or cherries yet. But there's fruit on the trees. Strawberries are getting big, not turning red yet, but it's early. The berry bushes are growing along and budding, so that's nice. My onions are, well over a foot tall, 1.5 feet tall by this point. I mean, doing well and stocky, so I'm happy. Cabbages are making heads. And that's just, my peas are growing. And those are just the cold weather crops. We don't even have tomatoes or peppers or beans or squash or anything like that in the ground yet. So, things are doing well. I looked out at the pond, because Wednesday's fish day. And so I'm finally getting excited for this, and we got some rain, so the water's up a bit. And, I'm looking in there and there's thousands of tadpoles in there. I'm going, okay, there's forage for the fish. Not that I'm not putting minnows in too, but I know there's going to be plenty of food for bluegill that I'm putting in. And just looking around and going, okay, this is all going according to plan. Slower than I thought. Okay, I was hoping this would all be done last year, but didn't happen that way. Okay, but I'm still moving forward. And so you get into the question of, is it all worth it? Prepping is time consuming. Prepping can be expensive. I mean, buying canning jars, that costs money. Buying solar generators, that costs money. Buying weaponry, that costs money. Storing all this extra food, that costs money. Is it all worth it? If you've read anything going on in the world right now, yeah, okay. You can pick any topic you want. I don't have to tell you guys about food inflation, okay? So every head of cabbage I grow is $3 or $4 I save. Every peach or plum I grow is $3 or $4 a pound I'm saving. Every onion I grow is a couple of dollars a pound I'm saving. Every carrot I grow is a couple of dollars a pound I'm saving. And you hear people go, gardening's too expensive, and it costs you more to raise your own food than it does to buy it at the grocery store. Maybe in the first year or the second year, and then it doesn't anymore. Then it doesn't cost you practically anything depending on where you live. Do you save your own seeds? You don't have any seed costs. Do you build your own soil? Grass clippings, leaves, that sort of stuff. Once you started with any soil you had to bring in, the rest of it's amendments that you get out of your yard anyway. That doesn't cost you anything. Oh, but fertilizer's expensive. Yeah, unless you save your coffee grounds, you save your eggshells, yada, 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 and you have all that for yourself. You make your own compost, and guess what? You don't need any of those chemicals. And all of a sudden you go, damn, it doesn't cost me anything to grow my own food. You look at power, all right? Solar generators, they seem to keep getting a little bit better and keep getting cheaper. I remember a couple of years ago talking about, hey, this one's a great price. It's just about $1 a watt hour. Yeah, and now we're paying what? 60 cents a watt hour? I mean, how many generators have I showed you guys that are 50, 60 cents or whatever it is? It's $800 for 1,300 watts. or 2,000 watts for $1,000. That ain't 2,000 watts for $2,000. It's getting cheaper. And sure, a lot of us bought them when they were more expensive too. But you know what? That peace of mind that I had for the last 2 years having some of those, it's pretty good. When the power went out and I could plug in my refrigerator, that was pretty good. Save the food I have. Okay? That didn't cost me money to replace. People talk about, buying guns, buying ammunition. Remember a year ago or so when we were paying $1 a round for damn near for 9mm? Now it's down to 25 cents, and you go, you bought it for $1 a round. Yeah, you know what? And I had it because as everything falls apart, you don't know when it's going to be more expensive, more cheap. How much does peace of mind cost you? You get to a point in your prepping, a lot of us are probably there, where you're comfortable. I mean, nobody's ever done. You can always buy another case of canning jars. You can always buy another box of ammo or whatever would be. Okay, there's no question you're never done. But there's a point we all reach when we get comfortable and go, I've got whatever your goal is, a year's worth of food or 2 years worth of food. I've got my gardens built. I've got 10,000, 20,000 rounds of ammunition for every platform that, caliber that you want to use. Hopefully it's not 15 different calibers. Okay. And you go, okay, now whatever they do to me, I'm okay. Because if you look at what's going on, and I mean, we'll touch on everything here real quick. Washington State this week passed a law, for all intents and purposes, outlawing modern sporting rifles and any parts that go with them. Illinois did it back in January. That just got put on hiatus by an appeals court judge. Maybe it's not necessarily according to the Constitution, is what the judge said. It's a violation of the Second Amendment. Okay? But you have them. Okay? Both states have said they're not going to confiscate. They're going to prohibit you from buying more. So it behooves everybody to make sure they have them or had them before the law went into place. And I do. Okay, not that I'm worried about it in Tennessee, but those of you in Washington or whatever it is, you had your weapons. Okay, great. You got it taken care of. If anybody comes and tries to be a little aggressive on your front lawn, you have a chance to fight back. You look at all this, I'm going to choose my words carefully here, gender dysphoria fiasco, okay? And now you have a lawsuit going on, believe it or not, here in Tennessee, where people are saying it's a constitutional right to give children drugs or to sexually mutilate their bodies. Saying it's a violation of the 14th Amendment not to allow them to do it. That's a real stretch, okay? I mean, personally, I think this one will be laughed out of court, okay? You have the conversations all over the place about abortion being a constitutional right. Again, please show me in the Constitution where it is. I talked yesterday about what's going on with First Republic Bank and potentially 190 other banks. Whether you noticed it this morning, the FDIC put First Republic in receivership yesterday and is now taking bids to buy the bank, okay? Which of course is pennies on the dollar, right? The companies will come in and the other banks will come in, they'll buy all the assets and leave the taxpayers stuck with all the liabilities, okay? And which basically means You and I get to pay all the bills. They get all the accounts and the furniture and the office buildings and that sort of stuff. Okay. Who were the two banks that came in and put bids in? JP Morgan Chase and PNC Bank. Okay. And if you remember me telling you a couple of weeks ago, and a few of you asked yesterday, and I put the list in the comments again, both of those are the infamous 6 that are supposed to survive. Now, I will say this. One of you all told me that information they have says it's going to be 2 banks. All right. It's going to be Chase on the eastern half of the United States and Bank America on the western half of the United States. That'll be interesting. Okay. See how that one all works. But is it all worth it? Do you have everything put back now for when the banking system goes to potentially 2 banks? Are you taken care of? Because both of those banks are not exactly what you'd call consumer friendly. Okay? So can you be consumer friendly? Look at the stories that you see on how are they going to get rid of cash? It'll never happen. Oh yeah, they've already got that one planned out. I mean, guys, this is a planned collapse. We're just not part of the planning committee. Okay. How are they going to get rid of the cash? Well, that's real simple. It's already been started in somewhere. Stores will not accept cash. So what you will see a kiosk, an ATM machine or something like that, where you can go in and put your $20 bill in, and it will spit you out a prepaid debit card. Okay? So you go, okay, fine, the store doesn't accept cash. Hey, there's a kiosk right there. You can put your cash in. It'll give you a card, and we can take that card. That's how it works. The problem is that cash, that greenback, that $20 note, will never make it back to circulation. And so the only thing that happens is the money is now on a prepaid card, and then it's converted into ones and zeros. Are you ready for that? Have you bought your gold and silver? Because if that happens, everything again is trackable. We've talked about this many times. How are you going to have your personal transactions? I want to have a garage sale. I don't feel like doing it all digitally. I want to have a poker game with the buddies, okay? I mean, can you imagine your digital poker game now, right? You know, I'll raise you 25 cents digitally. You have a digital pot in the middle. You know, it doesn't work. Something like that. I mean, anything, how this all works. Is it all worth it? Oh, absolutely. Because the capacity, the location where I am, I mean, not physical, I'm saying my prepping location, how far I've got. I have the ability now to help others. A lot of you are probably along the same. You're comfortable with your preps for yourself. So now you can start prepping for more people because you're going to need more people. You know, there's strength in numbers. We all talk about community all the time. And whether or not we care to believe it, we are going to have to bring people into the fold who are not preppers. And eventually they are going to beg to come in. Okay? And you may need them. Whether or not it's, you know, as righteous as we all get, well, if they've got skills or whatever it is, true. But sometimes just the fact that they are a warm body is going to help. And the other thing is just the fact that they are another human being. I mean, we are not going to, Joe Biden's not going to destroy the economy and all of a sudden every one of our hearts is going to go black. Okay. And we're just like, screw them all. We still are social animals. We still are going to need camaraderie. We're going to need companionship. And as much as people say, it's me and my wife, I've got my family or whatever it is, you're going to need more than that. And if those people aren't ready, you have two choices. Either give it to them out of your preps, or when you get to that point, start prepping for the possibility of them coming. because that's what we do this for. Is it worth it? Yes. Why? Because it's peace of mind. Because no matter what they throw at a prepper, we've already thought about it. We've already come up with a solution for it. That's why we are their biggest threat. They're going to cut off the food supply. Great. I can produce my own. We're going to cut off the water supply. Great. I can produce my own clean water. We're going to cut off the power. Great. I can produce my own power. We're going to take away your money. Great. I got that taken care of too. And they go, damn, what are we going to do to stop these people? And that's when they go, damn, they have guns too. Pinball out.